I'd like to call to order the Westmont Village Board meeting of October the 19th, 2023 to order at 6 o'clock p.m. and ask Clerk Simsky for a roll call, please.
Mayor Gunther.
Here.
The clerk's here. Trustee Barker.
Here.
Trustee Brady is absent. Trustee Guzzo.
Here.
Trustee Little.
Here.
Trustee Nero is absent. Trustee Simonovich.
Here.
Attorney Zemanek.
Here.
Village Manager May.
Here.
And Assistant Village Manager Parker.
Here. Would everybody please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I'd like to welcome everyone to tonight's meeting. The first item is open forum. If your item's not, if it's a chance to talk to the board, but if your item's on the agenda, you'll get an opportunity to speak later. So we'll go on to reports. My report first. I want to call Chief up here to talk about the trick-or-treat guidelines for Halloween. Because I want you to talk positive about it because you're the guy who canceled it several years ago.
Weather report before we kick this off. So, long and short of it, the hours are set at 2 p.m. to 7 p.m., which we recommended for years on end. So, the public should be very used to how we operate on Halloween, and it should be a great day as long as the weather holds.
Good, thank you. The other one, the casket race. Last Friday, we were featured on the Spotlight Chicago regarding the Village Finance and Communication Department's participation in the Scarecrow contest. Their Scarecrow, in the likeness of WGN TV, Sarah Gendra, prompted the Westmont High School alum to do a feature story on Westmont in the Wicked West Fest celebration. Watch Spotlight Chicago again tomorrow at 3 to see our Westmont Chamber in a casket race challenge with the Forest Park Chamber. And again, Spotlight Chicago is on WGN TV. And Sarah Gendra is a alum of Westmont High School and her family's been in the community for years. So I'll turn to Clerk Simsky.
I really have nothing much to add except village offices will be closed Friday, November 10th in observation of Veterans Day. So.
Trustee Simonovich, Police Public Safety.
Thank you, Mayor. Tonight we held the Police Public Safety Committee meeting. We discussed the school safety plan with Detective Durst, the school resource officer for the schools that we have here in town. He gave us an update on how he works with the schools as well as with the DuPage County Regional Board of Education on a safety plan and the various elements of that. And we learned a lot, and we thank him for his dedication to that cause. We are still looking to hire officers. We have one officer scheduled to start the academy in January. We have an update on the police department's goal to raise $30,000 for Special Olympics was surpassed and is currently at $41,187. This Saturday is their last event of the year to raise money for Special Olympics. It's the Paper Shred fundraiser, and it will be $10 a box. It will be a drive-through at the police fire facility from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. They're also hosting a drug take-back event October 28th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the police department and at Mariano's. And residents are reminded that there is also a collection box in the police department lobby for sharps and narcotic medications. Finally, the police department is hosting a coat drive now through November 30th. All of the collected gently used or new coats will be donated to the People's Resource Center. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And Trustee Johanna Guzzo, Fire Public Safety Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to congratulate and do a shout out to the fire department for a wonderful open house for the 100th anniversary. It was well attended despite the rain, and I want to say that the history of the fire department was amazing, and it brought back a lot of memories to look at all those old pictures of all the old apparatus that I remember from years and years ago. So I want to thank them for that. Also, November 5th, daylight savings time ends. We're falling back, so please remember, change those smoke detectors and CO2 batteries in keeping with what's been told to us over the years, so please do that. And then our next Fire Public Safety Committee meeting is December 14th, 4:30 here at the Village Hall. Everyone is invited to attend. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And Trustee Brady is out of town, and he report on the Community Development Committee. The next meeting is November the 2nd here at 4:30. Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for October. The potential developer for the proposed residential development at Willow Crest Golf Course showed revised plans for discussion with the Planning and Zoning Commission, but have not indicated if they move forward with a formal application. 2 village initiative plats approved, received unanimous positive recommendations, and are on this evening's board agenda for consideration. And the next Planning and Zoning is scheduled for November the 8th. Trustee Barker, Environmental Improvement Committee.
Thank you, Mayor. The Environmental Improvement Committee currently has a dark sky grant program out there, and the staff and the EIC are reviewing applicants, and we're expecting to announce some recipients in the near future. This year, the EIC will be at the Wicked West Fest, and we're doing a pumpkin grand prize game. They'll host this new activity called the Great Pumpkin Grand Prize Game, which will be at Wicked West Fest in downtown Westmont on October 21st from 11 to 1 p.m. And that is just to promote pumpkin composting, which has been very popular. The pumpkin composting is scheduled for Saturday after Halloween, November 4th, from 9 to noon at the library parking lot. And we're encouraging everybody to recycle their pumpkins so that they don't get thrown in the trash. And then the other item that we're working on is a holiday lights recycling. The boxes of holiday lights recycling will be available November 1st because there are Halloween lights now. And that'll go through January 31st at the library and Johannic Fire Station, and I think that was record-breaking last year. Every year we collect more and more, so these are pretty viable events. And then lastly, Mayor, I have the honor to introduce Josh Graham and Larry McIntyre. Josh is an Eagle Scout, and he wants to come up and tell you about what he's been working on for a project to earn his Eagle Scout badge.
Hi, everyone. Good evening.
Evening.
So about 2 years ago, I began working with the Environmental Improvement Committee and Mr. McIntyre on a project that I felt was very important for the town. So over the past couple years, I actually took a class at the high school, the AP Environmental class, and part of that is we did a lot of research on how many recyclables actually make it through the recycling process. And one thing that really stuck out to me was that a lot of these plastics and a lot of recyclable goods end up in landfills, not because they're contaminated, but purely because people don't know what to recycle. So that got me thinking. I was like, well, maybe I need to look at our recycling program for the village and see exactly what codes and what plastics can and cannot be recycled, so I have some more information. And unfortunately, I did all this research and I couldn't find super clear answers because these codes change from area to area so fast. So 2 years ago, I began working on this concept to do a giant recycling campaign for the village of Westmont. This campaign consists of some social media posts, a flyer, and a sticker that lays out directly everything that can and cannot be recycled in the town by plastic number and also by common household goods. And my hope with this is that people in the town will be able to put all their recyclables in the right bin, and fewer pounds of trash and recyclables will get mixed together, and then it's going to improve the overall recycling process. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I do have some visuals, a sneak peek, if you will.
To see them.
You even brought the superintendent with you.
I think if you put on,
If you lay them up there.
Oh,
then he had it turned on.
There it goes.
So then,
There you go.
Like, everybody can see them at their stations, if you want to put one up at a time, or
Absolutely.
talk
Yeah,
about them
so
at all.
here's a sneak peek. This is Recycle Smart. That's our campaign slogan. As you can see, we have the 3 basic rules of recycling for our town and area. And here's the sticker. Everything's very condensed and easy to read with many visuals, so people are able to directly see. And something that this campaign offers that I don't believe I've seen anywhere is plastic numbers. So when I actually first started, I thought that's how many times it could go through the recycling process, not that it was different materials. So I had decided to do some research, and I found out in the Chicagoland area, plastics 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 can all be recycled because of the big city nearby. And I thought that was very interesting, and I think it's going to be very helpful for a lot of people just to see what can be put in the bin. All right, thank you very much.
Great project. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Mayor, I want to say that he's done a great job with that and stuck to it, but it also follows the marketing procedure in that this is it's young people talking to young people in that way of communication, and with the number of contacts to get people to remember it and then make it a practice. And, Larry oversaw that part to make sure that it's lasting, but it appeals to the future environmentalist, and it's just a great thing. I really appreciate it. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you. Trustee Little, Administration and Finance Committee.
Thank you, Mayor. Our next Administration Finance Committee meeting will be held November 16th, 4:30, right here in Village Hall. The Wicked West Fest activities and events are scheduled all month long, but they really kick off on Saturday. We have participation with the library, the Park District, the Westmont Special Events, and the Chamber of Commerce. Several downtown events will occur this Saturday, including the Trick or Treat Trail, which is the big one, the costume contest and photo booth, Great Pumpkin Grand Prize game, and Caskets on Cast race. Also, don't forget to vote for your favorite scarecrows in downtown Westmont through the 31st of this month. Check the website for the village for details regarding all of the different scarecrows, and there are some really good ones already out there. And then our next event will be Holidays. A full schedule of Holidays festival events have been posted on the village website, or will be posted soon. Mark your calendars now for the Holidays Parade, which will be held the first Saturday in December, which is December 2nd at 5 p.m. The parade route starts at Cass and Naperville Road, head south on Cass across the tracks, and then turn west on Quincy. At the end of the parade, there'll be a tree lighting ceremony, followed by pictures with Santa in the train station. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And Trustee Nero is also out of town for Public Works Committee. The next Public Works Committee is December 28th at 4:30 right here. Construction project update. A news release has recently been published on the website to give an update on the current construction projects in Westmont. The news release provides links to the GIS map construction maps page and the community construction projects web page. And free leaf pickup, the month of November the 6th to December 1st on your regular pickup day. As part of our contract between the Village of Westmont and Waste Management, there will be a free leaf collection during that time. You're allowed to put out unlimited craft bags of leaves free of charged next to their garbage on the scheduled garbage pickup day. Residents are reminded not to rake their leaves into the street to ensure proper drainage and a safe driving surface. And again, keep storm drains clear to help prevent flooding and clogged sewers. We're asking the residents to help keep all fallen leaves cleared from their yards, gutters, and curbs. Thank you. We'll move on to items removed from the consent agenda. I have one item. I'd like to remove the proclamation. There's only one on here, right? Yeah, I'd like to remove the proclamation to be after the consent agenda. I'd ask Manager May to read the consent agenda.
On the consent agenda this evening includes, first, our village board meeting minutes. Board to consider approving the minutes of the village board meeting held October 5th, 2023. Next is finance ordinance number 13 in the aggregate amount of $2,932,014.84. The proclamation in support is the one that was removed. Next on the consent agenda is Westmont Holidays. Board to consider an ordinance approving the following requests from Westmont Holidays Committee for the 2023 Holidays Festival and Parade on December 2nd, 2023. First, community event permit. This is the permit, but also pending staff review and approval. There's amplified sound permit in the downtown business district near Westmont Center, 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. Closed North Linden from Burlington to Naperville Road for the parade staging, and that's between 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. For the parade itself, it is closed Cass Avenue from Naperville Road to Richmond Street from 4:30 to 7:30 p.m. and includes the closure of Naperville Road from North Linden to Cass Avenue for the parade as well. Last is closed West Quincy Street from Cass Avenue to Adams from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. for the Holidays Parade, tree lighting, and Santa visits. Next is Westmont Park District Winter Beer Fest 2024. Board to consider an ordinance approving the following request from the Westmont Park District for the 2024 Winter Beer Festival to be held on February 17, 2024. Community event permit, also pending staff review and approval. Temporary liquor license fee waiver, tent fee waiver, and food truck permit fee waivers. That is the entire consent agenda, Mayor.
Do I have a motion to approve as read?
Motion to approve is read, Little.
Second.
Go ahead.
Second, Simonovich.
Motion made and second. Any additional comments? Roll call, please.
Trustee Barker,
Yes.
trustee Guzzo,
Yes.
trustee, trustee Little,
Yes.
and trustee Simonovich.
Yes.
Motion passes. Now we'll move back to the proclamation in support of Community Unit School District 201 student efforts for Ukraine. And I'd ask Manager May to please read the proclamation.
So the proclamation reads, whereas the Village of Westmont has supported the students of our community, and whereas this year Westmont students will attend the Ukraine Action Summit, a community advocacy event in Washington, D.C., whereas Ukraine proclaimed independence from the Soviet Union on August 24th, 1991, and adopted its own constitution with a duly elected president and 44 million citizens. And whereas the Soviet Union invaded Ukraine on February 24th, 2022, resulting in the destruction of property and civilian casualties that is condemned by the United States and countries around the world. And whereas these students have an interest and give effort to community support and work hoping to make a difference in our world. And whereas the Village of Westmont supports the work of the Westmont High School students and their attendance, representation, and participation at the Ukraine Action Summit in Washington, D.C. Therefore, be it resolved, Ronald J. Gunter, Mayor of the Village of Westmont, does hereby proclaim the Village of Westmont's support for our students' work on behalf of the Ukrainian people in our community, in DuPage County, and abroad.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve, Barker.
Second, Little?
Motion been made and second. Any comments?
Just factual correction, I think it should be Russia instead of Soviet Union when it talks about the invasion in 2022.
Thank you. The ceremonial copy will have the wrong.
We'll have to, roll call, please.
Trustee Barker?
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Simonovich?
Yes?
Motion passes. Larry, would you like to introduce the young lady who is probably the one who initiated this and will be going to Washington DC tomorrow?
So I'll be brief. We learned about this group of students maybe about a month and a half ago, approaching the village and asking for support. And it's obvious that they're very passionate about this topic, and not only motivated by their hearts and minds, but by their actions. And so if you'd like to go ahead and tell us more about your upcoming trip.
Okay, so hello, my name is Natasha Shamarina Edge. I've kind of been at the head of our student group moving this, our actions forward and helping the cause. I am Ukrainian. I lived in the capital city, Kiev, for 3 years, and my mother immigrated to the United States from our home country. So the invasion in Ukraine has been quite impactful on us, and I wanted to do as much as I can, especially with in terms of the government in supporting Ukraine. So in doing so, I wanted to not only reach out to the local government in supporting us, but as well as going to Washington, D.C. with the Ukraine Action Summit, which is a large group of Ukrainians from around the country, and we will be meeting with parts of Congress discussing bills that can be passed to help the people of Ukraine. And yeah, so I just wanted to reach out to the local community and gain the support in helping Ukraine. And I really appreciate all of the support that we're getting.
Who's going, other students going with you?
It is just me going out to Ukraine with my mother, or to the DC Ukraine Action Summit with my mother. We do have a large community of Ukrainian students at Westmont High School. We actually have a couple refugees from the country themselves that came here due to being unable to stay in their homes in their country. So it's a bigger community than a lot of people are aware of that is being influenced. So we have a big group of people behind it. Yeah. And I know you've been sending emails and stuff, and down the road, well, not down the road, in a couple of weeks or so, we're going to sit down and you can talk about proposing what you're proposing, the Sister City program, and we can look at that when you get back sometime. Okay, perfect. I really appreciate your consideration on that. We do have a lot of students involved in that specific matter as well.
I got the proclamation to hand you, other than it's a Soviet Union, but.
Lovely.
Having a corrected copy prepared right away.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Have your mom come up.
By request today.
Jack's gonna do a picture of you, but your superintendent.
Of course. I'm going to have you all take a step forward, just a little bit. There you go. Here we go. Thank you. Good.
Okay. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor.
Again, this board has always been supportive of our school students, the Eagle Scout, as well as the Honor Society with the support for Ukraine. Moving on to new business. We only have a couple items, and the first item is the Plat subdivision for Drenth, Westmont, 423 North Grant. Board to consider an ordinance approving requests by the Village of Westmont regarding the property located at 423 North Grant Street and located in the R3 Single Family Detached Resident District for the following. 1. Preliminary and final plat subdivision to subdivide one lot into 3 lots, including the dedication of a portion of the property for public roadway purposes. And 2, Westmont Land Development Ordinance variance for relief from both the installation and cash in lieu contribution of required land improvements. And now I'm going to turn to Manager May for additional information.
Thank you, Mayor. You all here will recognize, but the Village of Westmont owns the residential property at 423 North Grant. That property is a double-wide lot that had a single-family home on it, and it is also extraordinarily deep. This subdivision is to both bisect the parcel front to back, and so we can retain control over the back half of the parking lot, back half of the property, which abuts the library parking lot, as well as the DuPage County Health Department parking lot, but frees up the front 2 parcels that front on Grant Street to be, returned back to single-family home residential market, that we don't have any direct interest on the property there. So the subdivision is to create these 3 parcels. The 2 on Grant Street are roughly a 1/4 acre each, and then the 1/2 acre in the back we are keeping. If it's all right, I'm going to describe the next 2 items as well, because they're kind of related to this, at least by description.
Well, the next item, the plat of dedication for 428 North Cass Avenue.
Right, and sticking with this subdivision, besides the large lot in the back, when you actually look at a tax parcel map, there is the platted dedication of what would be North Lincoln Street, which exists up to the Health Department and the Cass Avenue Dream Homes, if you can picture that. And, but the public right-of-way exists in pieces going north. So this plat of subdivision also dedicates the rear 33 feet, which would be part of that Lincoln Street alignment, not for immediate use, but for future use. And then when you have that, you'd actually have to look at the exhibit, but the full 66 feet exists at the County Health Department. We have this 33 feet on our parcel. It is missing on the library parcel, and then exists again on the library parcel further to the north. So the next item is that plat of dedication for 33 feet of Lincoln Street that is actually on the library parcel, which is the 423 North Cass address. So it's all related, and it's to collect, continuous right-of-way through there while we're in control of it. Last item on the agenda is, well, besides dedicating the area for Lincoln Street and the existing one at the library, they are already using this property for a part of their parking lot, and they park on it. The part that's, I'll call it encroaching, but not by objection, that is encroaching now is not covered under agreement, and before they dedicated this 33 feet, they were also looking for assurances of being able to continue to use the property in the way that they have been using it and maintain the parking lot there, that we're not looking to eradicate it, which we're not at this time. So the third item tonight is an intergovernmental agreement between the Village of Westmont and the library to allow them to maintain that for times uncertain.
Yeah. And you attended a library board
Went to
meeting,
the
got support.
library board, so they first had to act on approval for this. They also got an introduction to the subdivision and why I was even approaching them. So back on September 19th, I attended the library board, and this was approved, both this and the intergovernmental agreement by the library board.
Okay, and I'm going to need 3 motions. The first one, I'll go back and get to the
plat of subdivision.
Plat of subdivision for the Drenth Westmont 423 North Grant. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve, Little?
Second Guzzo.
Motion made, second. Any comments? It's called. Yeah.
It's a single ordinance, so it approves the preliminary and final plat as well as the variance from the land development code. So if you could please vote on both of 1 and 2 together.
They're part of this.
Same ordinance
Yes.
for this item.
We're the owner of the, I didn't speak to it, but the variance for the cash in lieu of contribution is just us paying ourselves to take on the responsibility that we already have for stormwater management.
So I need to vote here and
One vote for those two.
Yeah.
there? Yeah. I just got a motion for Plat.
You got a motion, I was just clarifying that motion
Got it.
approves the plat and the land development
Got
code
it.
variance.
And the reason, for those who've been around a long time, the Drenth family lived on there with their chickens and everything else for years and years and years. So very active in the community. I'd ask for a roll call, please.
Trustee Little,
Yes.
trustee Guzzo,
Yes.
trustee Simonovich,
Yes.
trustee Barker.
Yes.
Motion passes. We'll move on to the plat of dedication, 428 North Cass Avenue. Board to consider an ordinance approving a preliminary and final plat of dedication request from the Westmont Public Library, the owner, and the Village of Westmont, who is the petitioner, dedicating a portion of the property located at 428 North Cass Avenue for public roadway purposes. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve, Little?
Second?
Motion been made and second. Any additional? And I do have to say the P and Z voted unanimously for this, right? 'Cause
P and
usually
Z
we
did.
get-
There were some good questions at the library board, but it was unanimous.
Okay. We got a motion. Roll call, please.
Trustee Little,
Yes.
trustee Simonovich,
Yes.
trustee Guzzo,
Yes.
trustee Barker.
Yes.
Motion passes. New business C is the third item, intergovernmental agreement with the Westmont Library. Board to consider ordinance approving an intergovernmental agreement, IGA, with the Westmont Library for a plat of dedication and license to use property. So I have a motion.
Motion to approve, Little?
Second Guzzo.
Motion been made and second. Any comments? Again, this is going to give us that road right away behind Dream Homes and the library, so this is very, very important. Roll call, please.
Trustee Little,
Yes.
trustee Barker,
Yes.
trustee Simonovich,
Yes.
trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Motion passes. Are there any miscellaneous items? We do not need an executive session, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, Barker.
Second, Little?
Motion made and seconded to adjourn. Roll call, please.
Trustee Barker,
Yes.
trustee Guzzo,
Yes.
trustee Little,
Yes.
trustee Simonovich.
Yes.
Again, I thank everyone, and this meeting is adjourned.